Feels like the intro to your night one of youth camp.
Mm.
Um, okay, let me have some audio here that says, believe it or not, we're turning this into a podcast. So welcome to the Young Pastor Network podcast. I've got Jordan McClarnon here, who's a young adult pastor in Cincinnati. And I got
Yeah.
Nate Richie, young adult and youth. Pretty sure his title would be considered next gen pastor in Tampa, Florida. They'll tell you all about their churches, their positions. They both love to talk about their gifts and, themselves. So I can't wait for you guys to hear that. No, but I'm really excited. Both of them stepped into a season of young adult ministry. Young adult ministry is something that is just finding their footing in the church. I would say right now, maybe more than ever, you're seeing young adults flock to church. You're seeing them flock to young adult ministries, and so at a time like that, we're having people that are running young adult ministries. They're maybe young adult pastors solo, or they're young adult pastors and they have other positions in the church. And I know they have questions. And what I'll tell you about Nate and Jordan is they're two of the most humble people I've ever met. And God just continues to pour out his favor and his grace upon them as they build their ministries, their families, and their lives. And they don't have every answer, but I'm telling you right now, if you lean in and you ask the Holy Spirit to help you find the gold in this conversation, I believe that your ministry will get better. So I'm going to rattle off some questions for them. They're going to conversate, and I'm going to be here and take in this gold as well. So, guys, would you just introduce yourself before we start with question one and I get ahead of myself? Go ahead,
Up.
Jordan.
My name is Jordan. I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. Just moved here about a year ago, which is crazy. Originally from North Carolina, but now I live in
Hey,
Cincinnati, young adults director at Crossroads Church. And youth ministry for 10 years, 1 year in the young adults ministry world. And I oversee our young adult ministry centrally. So I oversee it in Cincinnati, Columbus, Lexington, Dayton, and I'm having the time of my life.
cool. I've been to Dayton once. Watched Carolina win a basketball game there.
Hey.
So yeah.
Yeah, so Nate, I want to emphasize what Thomas said. I am very humble as it gets. No, man. I'm in Tampa, Florida. I was born and raised in Indiana, but moved when I was 16 down to the Tampa Bay area. And I've been working at Grace Family Church for the last 8 years. And so for the first 7, it was all youth ministry focused. I was a campus youth pastor when I first started, and then moved into our central youth pastor role. And then this past August is when I took over our young adult ministry as well. So I'm in that next gen role, overseeing our young adults team as well as our youth team.
Thanks. Okay, let me ask you guys this: personal things. Jordan, are you an NFL fan of anybody? If you're not, did you move to Cincy, and are you a Bengals fan now? I know you're a Duke fan, so we don't have to talk about that because that's gross. But are you a Bengals fan since you moved or
Yeah,
no?
I'm trying to be a Bengals fan. I didn't really have an NFL team beforehand. The Panthers were just irrelevant for so long that I never
I
really
know.
cared. And so I'm trying to hop on the
Joey B. Okay.
Bengals train. I went to a game this past year. It was a good time. Cincy just puts on for the sports teams, man.
Yeah,
And it was
yeah, they
supposed to be
do,
our
man.
year, and then Joe
hmm
Burrow's made of glass. So we'll see.
He is. But I don't know. Maybe we need to pray and ask the Lord to help him to play a full season. I think they'd be pretty good. Uh, okay, Nate, are you a Pacers fan? Or are you a Colts fan? I know
So
you're a Colts fan. You've been in Colts jerseys whenever I called you before.
yeah, Colts fan for sure. But I also am starting to become a Bucks fan. Living here in Tampa, I have a couple.
Okay,
I have a couple of Bucks players that come to our young adult ministry, and so they're as I get
fire.
closer. Yeah, as I get closer to
Subtle.
them, they're convincing me to root for them. So
What a flex. Yeah, dude, I love Baker Mayfield. It's we could have a whole podcast episode on like not being able to see who's on your team. And you
yeah,
had Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield running practice squad drills with the team there in Carolina. So they obviously have a really good eye for talent. You know what I mean? There with the Panthers. So no, but that's great, guys. Okay, so let's get into the questions today. Uh, First one is, what's the thing nobody tells you before you start leading a young adult ministry that you had to learn completely on your own?
You got it, Nate.
man, I think you step in and Everyone has an opinion. Everyone has an opinion on what success looks like, and so trying to figure out what is God calling me to actually run after? What is the target that He's calling us to hit? And definitely take their voices, absolutely, but don't allow it to cloud your judgment and the Holy Spirit leading you and speaking to you about what this focus should be for young adult ministry. That's been incredibly difficult. And the other thing I would say is that stepping into it, what was a pleasant surprise was that the framework that I took for youth ministry for years
Mm-hmm.
really does apply for young adult ministry.
Yeah.
You don't want young adult ministry to feel like youth ministry 2.0, because it does need to be incredibly different. But when it comes to at least the framework and the house that
Yeah.
you're building and the foundation that you're setting,
Hmm.
man, just run the plays that have been working for years when it
Yeah.
comes to a
Yeah.
healthy youth
Yeah,
ministry as well.
for sure. Yeah, I think for me, coming out of a decade of youth ministry, I mean, when I was in it, I said I was going to do it till I was 70. I mean, I just didn't see me doing any other job in the world. And I feel like young adult ministry is everything I loved about youth ministry. And the things I didn't love about youth ministry, the few things that would kind of frustrate me at times, they don't exist anymore. So it's like actually the best of both worlds. Everybody can drive. I'm going to talk to anybody's parents. If someone
Yeah.
just stands up in the middle of the service and walks out, it's fine. That like they're grown, and if they want to leave, it's that they can. They didn't check in the first place, so they're not my responsibility. It's great. But I think that the thing no one told me, to your point, Nate, is that I did a decade of youth ministry, and not one time did anyone ever ask me, "Do we even need to have this at our church?"
Yeah,
Like, not one time did anybody say that. Should we even
Mm.
do this? Do we even need this? What's the point? And I think, and not even in a negative sense, just over the last year I've been here, I've probably answered that question 200 times,
yep,
or sat in meetings where someone has said, what are we doing here? Why do we need it?" And I was just a little unprepared to
yeah,
answer that question, or at least unprepared for the frequency of which I was going to receive it. And so I think, we can obviously discuss a little bit more, but that was the thing no one told me, how much I was going to have to be fighting for clarity and defending and protecting the thing that I was leading.
it's great.
That's great. Follow-up question on that one. Give me something that has been in a conversation pastorally with a young adult where you were kind of like, oh, this isn't youth ministry. Do you know what I mean? Like where, help me, teach me whenever you stepped into this and you were like, oh, these conversations I'm having a bit different because both of you guys made that transition pretty fast. So your guys'
Hmm.
brains have been youth ministry focused. So you guys have been around the block a time or two with youth ministry. So when things happened in your youth ministry, you never reacted. You had already had a system, a plan. You already had this conversation before. But tell me about that. Like Nate, you just said you got like Bucks players, like dudes who are making millions of dollars to
Hmm.
play football. Jordan, you're in Cincinnati, your youth ministry is massive, or your young adult ministry is massive, or your church is massive. Like, what are these kind of conversations that was like not a wake up call, but you were like, this arena is different.
Uh, I think a lot of it is the conversations that you're having now, especially when it comes to contrasting the youth ministry conversations from young adult ministry conversations, is you're having really pastoral conversations now. Like when it comes to youth ministry, they're pastoral, yes, but they're also disciplinary because it's like, okay, now I have to talk to your parents and run by everything and you're going to be in trouble. And I've had multiple conversations where I've sat down with young adults who are making just the absolute dumbest decisions. And I just have
Yeah.
to tell them, like, hey, you're a grown man. I'm not going to, like, you're not getting in trouble. Like, this is just, I don't want to see you ruin your life.
Yeah.
And so
Mm-hmm.
having real
Bar.
conversations with adults that can
Hmm.
make their own decisions, it's been so much better because I can say, hey, here's the action plan. Now you can decide to take it if you
Yeah.
want to or not. It's totally up to you. So it's just more mature conversations that you get to have.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'd say on the more structural side, as far as like moving and operating within a church organization, what's different? It's conversations, meetings, discussions with leadership that you have around what are we going to do and what are we not going to do. Again, in youth ministry, it's like, oh, yo, we do camp, we do groups, we do services, we do serve day. We like it's all fair game.
Yeah.
Like you just do it all, and no one ever asks, if you should or if you shouldn't. Now the conversations are a lot more. Should we do service? How often should we do it? Should we do weekly? Well, if we do weekly, then we also have church on Sunday. And how's that different? And you start
Yeah.
getting into all these discussions very quickly with leadership about what should we do, and then also what should we not do. And that just flexes different muscles that I don't think I got a lot of reps in youth ministry.
Okay. Speaking on that, great transition. Help young adult pastors who are currently facing young adults coming to their ministry, to their service, to their group night, to their round table. Dude, church people, dude, we are event planners and event namers, bro. That is our specialty. So talk to young adult pastors who have these people come to their ministry, but not necessarily showing up on Sunday. Is it because they don't feel like they're ready? Is it because they feel like, I don't need a, you know what I mean? This is my church. Like, talk us through that.
Stop being so good at your job. Just playing. Um, I would a few thoughts that I have around that. Um, I think when I came and I started and I was trying to pitch a vision for what I wanted young adult ministry to be, no one really had a vision for it, but everyone had opinions, like Nate said. So I'd throw out
Bar,
an idea, and
bar.
then people would be like, well, I like that or don't like that. And I'd be like, okay, well, what about this thing? What about that thing? And eventually people just said, I don't know, just do it. And I was like, okay. And that works really great, I would say, until you start having a lot of success. And then all of a sudden people go, whoa, 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 wait, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. There were actually expectations. It's just
Yeah,
like a relationship or a
that's
marriage
it.
or
You know
something. It's
what?
just like you didn't know it was there until you realized somebody didn't pick their clothes up off the floor, and then you're like, "Oh, that was an expectation. Got it." So the reason I say all of that is to say a lot of conversations have to happen specifically in regards to services or big events in young adult ministry to get green lights from leadership around what are we doing and what are we not doing, so that leadership's on board with, yeah, they're doing this thing and this is the specific unique function that it has. And um, there's no insecurity attached to if this thing grows and this thing doesn't, or if this thing stabilizes or this thing is less than or more, or all of that. The last thing I would say, and we can unpack all of this more, the last thing I would say is you got to make sure there are not false assumptions or narratives that are being thrown out. Example, you start having conversations with leadership about we want to do a service or our service is growing. And then someone might say, well, if you start doing this service, does that mean that all these people over here are going to not come to our thing and they're going to go to your thing instead? That's a false assumption. Like, that's a huge assumption that's made. It doesn't have to be we win so that you lose. I think we can figure out
That's good.
where there's win-win, or we just figure out how to frame this as, no, my thing growing isn't indicating that young adults don't like our church or that they don't want to come to Sunday service. Maybe we're actually reaching people who don't go to our church at all, or they go to a different church,
Yeah.
or we are actually more about helping them find community in our church, where as Sunday service with hundreds or thousands possibly of people, that's really hard. So it all comes back down to like, what is the function that we are attaching this event or this service to, and making sure that everybody's on board with it, because it can't just be everything for everyone all the time. The thing has to have a specific design, and then we know if it's hitting that design and everyone agrees this is the right design, no one's insecure about it. And we all understand that a win for young adult ministry is a win for church. And it's a beautiful
That's
thing.
a bar. Ooh, that's a bar. Ooh.
Yeah, I think you hit something big when it comes to what happens when success comes, when growth comes.
Yeah.
Like, we have to understand, like, when growth happens, praise will come, but so will criticism at the same time.
Yeah.
Basically at the same time.
Yeah.
And you have to be a very confident leader, knowing that I'm not doing it for praise. Therefore, the criticism's not going to hit me as much because I'm not doing it for your praise either. So you get a run in your lane, but you get questioned about, man, are you trying to build your own church? Like, what is this? You know what I mean? You've heard that 1,000
Oh yeah.
times. My
Yeah.
line though, that you can absolutely steal in this is, yeah, I understand why you have a problem with it. Growth is a lot easier to criticize than it is to produce. That's what I tell people, and it's just like, it is though. Growth is so much
So
easier.
good.
It's so
Yeah.
much easier to critique than it is
Mm.
to actually produce. And so when when growth happens, people are like, they just feel weird about it, right? But man, just stay in your own lane in the sense of like you want to be confident knowing that God's put you in this position to lead, but at the
Yep.
same time, never break away from the church. And like you want
Yeah.
to fall under the umbrella, like you want to serve
Yes.
your senior pastor. Like yes, you might have a specific version of your own vision, but that vision better fall in line with the overall church's vision.
Yep.
Right.
And so it's been good as we've continued to build and continue to grow. But you'll experience people having an issue with your success. But you just have to be very secure in what God's called you to do. And what are you getting from your senior leadership? Are they giving you the green light? Then that's great. Like if they're giving you the green light, then just keep running and keep running and keep chugging along. But that's a good thing to understand, because as you continue to grow, yeah, like people are gonna have a problem with it. It sucks, but people do have a problem with it.
So give someone listening just some advice, or like help them into your world on how you guys, do you know what I mean, never like are separate or depart from the church, so to speak, although you have a place in the church where you're doing a service. Like teach us in this moment how that happens. And you guys might have already answered it. You said like, hey man, our leadership has greenlit this and we're honoring our leadership by running a young adult ministry. So is the answer as simple as clarity from your leadership that this is your definition of young adult ministry? And if it grows and it's successful and it makes you feel uncomfortable, this is still the play, you know what I mean, that's been asked to run? Or, is it really like, nah, dude, we're everywhere. We talk about it from the platform. We're inviting people to Sunday mornings. We're engaging people in small groups. But also, is there any way I could pitch to my leadership, hey, have we ever thought about this as like an evangelistic tool to the community for an age group that might be hard for anybody but me and the team to reach? Like help somebody and give them some advice there.
Yeah, it's just some
Mm.
practical advice that we're taking. Um, man, I when it comes to my teaching team, when it comes to people that I'm having come preach, like I have my teaching pastors come in
Yeah,
and
smart.
carry the stage with me. The people that are preaching,
It's good.
mainly weekend services, they're coming in and they're gonna preach a couple times a semester, because I want them to become acclimated. I want them to fall in love with young adults, for the record, but I also want our young adults to fall in love with their teaching.
Yep.
As well as, man, we push serving on the weekend very hard, because when it comes to a welcome team, I would love for it to be mostly young adults on our welcome team, because there's an energy that is
Yeah.
created and people coming in. Something that we don't do at young adult service, and it's intentional, is we don't do baptisms at young adult service, because baptisms happen on the weekend, and that's such an easy way to get them plugged into the weekend. We push baptisms hard and say, hey, as a follower of Jesus, you need to be baptized.
Right.
Oh, but hey, we're going to push you to the weekend because we want you to find community there. This coming semester, we're partnering with our adult ministries better, so that we can have our adult ministries come in and mentor our young adults. Such an easy way for it to be a church
Yep. It's
altogether,
great.
not just your own thing. And then we're also doing something that Jordan just went through, and it hasn't been released yet, but it's okay. I don't think any of my young adults are gonna jump on here and listen to me talk about it yet. But if they do, great. We're changing our name, and right now we're the Exchange, and it's a fine name, but it doesn't fall under, like, that's not Grace Assembly Church. Like that's just not who it
That's
is.
good.
It
That's
it
good.
takes like, hey, you come to the Exchange tonight. What is the Exchange? It sounds like a
Yeah.
recovery ministry. No, it's our young adult ministry. So we're just going Grace Young Adults, and I know Crossroads, you guys just went through a rebrand
Yeah.
as well, but it's way clearer, as
Yep.
well as it allows us to fall under the umbrella of the
Yep.
church in which we're
Yep.
serving anyway.
Yep.
It's great.
That's good.
My ad would be young adult ministry is not the space for anyone to right the wrongs that they feel are happening in their church.
That's
So I
good.
think
That's
that
good.
a
Oh,
lot
that's
of
good, bro.
leaders
Phew.
have a healthy frustration for not seeing a lot of young adults at their church, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it quickly turns into bitterness and jaded, reckless decision making, where someone grabs the ball and says, I can do it better. And they They start doing things and not getting approvals and moving away and away and
Hmm.
away
Hmm.
from vision and direction, and they start looking like something else, and they start talking like something else, and they start acting like something else,
Yep.
and stuff just goes sideways and it gets weird. And
Yeah.
so I think the thing that I would like to add into the discussion, and then the language that I've tried to use with our team and our leadership that's been really helpful, is I'm talking to my leadership about where I want to integrate into our church. So an example of that would be what Nate just said. Hey, we don't do baptisms at YA because we want you to do baptisms at Grace Family Church. That's an area where we are choosing not to do something because we want you to be integrated into our church. Love it. So you got to figure out where you're going to do that. And then you also need to figure out where you're going to innovate. And you need a healthy balance of both.
Yeah, that's
If
good.
you do all integration, you don't really have a reason to exist because you're kind of just not bringing anything new to the table, and you're not solving any new problems for young
Yeah,
adults
yeah,
that your
yeah,
church isn't
yeah.
already doing.
That's good.
But if you do all innovation, you are starting a church within a church, whether you think you are or not.
On your church's dime too.
If it's 100% innovation,
Correct.
it is its own separate thing.
But
That's totally different.
on top of that, don't do it on an island. Because we also, like here at Grace, we've seen young adult ministry be an opportunity to shift culture in a positive way. I'm not
Absolutely.
deciding where culture's going. That's coming from leadership, like
Hmm.
in conversation. So I'm inviting them in of, hey, where do we need to continue to shift the church? Where do we need to continue to grow? And one area for us has been worship. Like our worship department has seen our young adult ministry as the
Hmm.
place to try out new things, to shift
I love
culture,
that.
to be able to, well, that's absolutely like, please come do it. It
Yeah.
brings energy to our ministry as well as helps shift the church. We also have to understand like the value of young adult ministry has to increase at churches across America, especially when it comes to Gen Z. Gen Z is not only the most passionate generation of all time, but they are the most influential generation of all time. And
Yep.
so if you pour into this group of people, these group of young adults who are going to become adults, who are going to have families, who are going to be great tithers. They might not be great tithers now, but they will be one day. Like
Yeah.
if you really pour into them now, they're going to be shaping your church and producing growth for your church overall, and not just young adult ministry. Because one, we've seen it. They're so passionate. They're leading people to Christ. They are very bold in their faith, and every trend in America comes from the Gen
Yeah.
Z
Them. Yeah.
generation. So you have to do a better job of really implementing a great young adult service or ministry or whatever it is, and look at, say, how do we capture the hearts and the minds of these young people, not just for our own benefit, but because the future church depends on it.
Yeah. And like, you know, you all three of us have been youth pastors for a long time, and you know that one of the joys of senior leadership is to know that they can implement the principles, the biblical foundation, the culture, and the theology of the church in these young people in your youth ministry. Well, then it can kind of get weird with the young adults and be like, well, I'm teaching on, you know what I mean? I'm teaching on Sunday or whatnot, right? And it's like, yeah, but this is also a ground where you can do the same thing. And I don't know, like, why we always say that people are like bad tithers in their 20s. I have not made bad money in my 20s. You know what I mean? And it's a biblical principle that I live my life upon, and I do tithe, right? And so it's this space where I love that, Nate, that if a lead pastor does listen to this that just wants advice or kind of hope for young adult ministry in their church, use it as a training ground, somewhere to get better, somewhere to better ministries in your church, better communicators in your church. Like, also on the flip side is, it's not just on the young adult pastor to integrate the church into the ministry. It's also a responsibility of the church to integrate the church into the young adult ministry, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I love that. That's really great, guys.
Great.
You guys are really, really amazing. Can you give some? I genuinely love these guys. Like, this is a real friendship. These guys will call and say things to me that real friends say, and that's why I'm grateful for them.
That's why he's
So
lost a lot of weight.
I don't know. You know, you reach a point where you start looking at yourself without a shirt on. You're like, something's got to shift here.
Does everyone else hate me as much as I hate myself?
Oh my God,
Oh,
that's good. Okay, Oh God, I love you guys so much. Why can't Tampa and
Well,
Cincinnati be closer to where I'm at? You know what I mean? Okay,
Because
so
Tampa's actually good, but keep going.
okay, all right, all right, all right. It's a great. I hear it's a great place. I've never been invited by my friend. You know what I mean? Whatever, whatever, whatever. Okay, uh, can you talk to somebody who feels like they're not growing right now, and can you give them like even if you are just trying stuff out in your young adult ministry right now, and you can't be like, yeah, here's concrete ways that I've grown a young adult ministry. How have you grown your youth ministry? And can you debunk this myth that if you have a big church, you will have a big ministry, and teach them how you have grown ministries within both of y'all churches that was not big before y'all stepped in uh, to them, contextually speaking. So,
hmm.
Yes. Um, so first, understand this, that growth is a fruit, not the focus. Like I think so many people don't grow because they look and they just want it to grow and they focus on the growth itself instead of the things that are actually going to produce growth in your ministry. It's like working out. I can stare at my biceps all day, but they're not going to grow until I actually put the work in.
yep,
And so
yep,
figuring out how to actually, what's the list that I need to do? What do I like? How do I actually build? And so like, what are your focuses? Like for me, I think, um, to give you context, yes, I've seen a lot of churches, large churches. I've been a part of it where their youth ministry or young adult ministry is is a good size, but it's not where they should be, and it's not thriving, and it's not growing. When I took over our youth ministry, we were about 800 youth on a weekly basis, which size wise, you're like, wow, that's ginormous. But when it comes to a 18,000 person church, not so much.
yeah,
Um, so now, that was 2 years ago. 2 years, actually, it's probably a year and a half ago. But from then now, we're averaging 1,500, 1,600 students on a Wednesday night. Young adult ministry, I took over in August, and we were running 350, 400 young adults in every single week. We're averaging 750 to 850
yep,
now every
yep,
single week. So just almost a double increase. And so it's just focusing on the right things. It's just identifying what's actually stopping me from growing,
yep, yep,
and what's going to spark momentum and growth. I think that first question is just as important as that second question. Many times we focus on what do we need to do in order to produce growth. And I think many times the question is, what do we need to stop doing in order to
mm,
produce growth?
it's
You
good,
become
it's good,
When you focus on everything, you become ineffective in everything. But when you focus on the right things, it produces growth. So for young adult ministry specifically, when I stepped in, there were some good pieces, but the culture wasn't phenomenal.
yeah,
There was a lot of cliques, and there was a lot of, if you were on our leadership team, it was like you were a VIP and you got treated like different than everybody. And so I came in and I just shifted that culture and was like, now, like when you join our team to be a part of our leadership team, you're no longer a consumer, but you're an owner and a contributor to the ministry. Like you're no longer coming to Tuesday night to say, man, what community can I find for myself? But now your question should be, what community can I create for other people?
yeah, it's
And
good,
so we established this little tiny line that literally, like, I just said it one time and I was like, all right, we're gonna keep saying that, and we're just gonna say it every
yeah, it's
single
good, it's
huddle,
good,
every time I meet with my team. And it's just a little phrase of no one sits alone. Because what was driving me crazy is the moments that I wasn't preaching, I would walk around the room and there'd be, man, 100 people that were just sitting by themselves. I told them, I said, guys, nobody wants to sit by themselves. Nobody's
yeah,
giving up their
yeah,
Tuesday night to come and to sit in the back by themselves and not make connection. Like we just have to establish this line of no one sits alone. It's just not going to happen. And when we see somebody that sits alone, we either invite them to come sit with us or we go. And it's like this little thing to establish. So that was big. Um, Allowing my teams to actually run in their lane with confidence and not have to me to control everything. Worship was one area where I came in
hmm
and they were like, what do you want to do? And I was like, you're better at your job than I am at your
yep,
job.
yep,
Like,
yep,
go have fun. And if you have fun, everyone else is going to have
yep,
fun. And it created this like sense of freedom and worship for them where they're like, oh, like I actually think he means that. And so our worship culture has just changed so much on a Tuesday night because I'm not going to tell them what songs to do. I'm not going to tell them how to do it. Like, you're gifted in that area. I'm not gifted in that area. So I'm just going to champion you and celebrate you. And if I have an opinion on a couple things, I'll share it. But more than anything, like, man, I want to help you grow. I was telling you this before, is like, man, don't allow yourself to be the lid of your ministry.
Yep. Yep.
Many times you're like, man, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. And when you do everything, you are literally the lid of growth. But when you empower others, when you invite other people in, when you create a team that you can actually work alongside, or at least a volunteer team that can serve alongside of you, and then trust them to utilize their gifts that God has given them, you start to really take that lid off and you begin to see growth because there's passion. Don't just give people tasks, but give people ownership. When you give people tasks,
Yeah.
they do the task. When you give people ownership, they take pride in what you've given them and
Yep.
they
Yep.
grow it beyond than you could possibly do it,
Yep.
because they take
Yep.
they feel this like, man, I get to grow this thing alongside Pastor so and so. So
That's great.
It's great. I think that a lot of young adult ministry is problem solving for young adults.
Ooh, that's good. Ooh.
It's what it is. You have all these different people and all these different life stages. So for us, we have college students, we have people in gap year, we have people that just moved back in with their parents, we have young professionals, we have singles, we have young married couples. There's all these different life stages that can fall
Yeah.
within 18 to 25 or 29 or whatever your range is. And I think you genuinely need to figure out what are their needs, what are the questions that they're asking,
Yeah.
and what are the problems that they have, because we have an opportunity to be a place that helps solve their problems. And sometimes that's something simple like young adults need friends. Every single night, we hear
yep.
the same story
Yeah.
over and over and over and over again. It's, I'm new either to Cincinnati or to college or to my job
Yeah.
or to this
Or
stage
to
of
the
life,
church,
to the
bro.
church, and I have no friends
Yep. Yep.
every single time. And that's a problem that we can help solve. The problem of community. There are problems that are right in front of people all the time. And I think that if our ministry actually sees those and teaches to
Mm,
those, we will add value to people's lives, and people talk to other people about the things that add value to their lives. If the gym adds value to my life, I'm going to tell people about it. If
yep.
an app on my
Yep.
phone
Yep.
adds value to
Yep.
my
Yep.
life, I'm going to tell people about it.
Phew.
I also think we got to be excellent. When I
Correct.
came a year ago, we hosted a summer little cookout Bible study thing. It was planned before I got here. There had been nothing going on in the young adult ministry for a long time. Crossville is a very big church, so this will certainly debunk the we have a big young adult ministry because we're a big church myth. And we had 25 people came to it. My first young adults event, and it was
Oh, give somebody hope, baby. Give somebody hope.
it was horrible because no one was there to turn the lights on.
Mm,
No one knew how
mm,
to lock the building up.
mm.
No one planned anything. It was the most thrown together thing I've ever seen in my life, and I was legitimately embarrassed. I like was actually embarrassed.
Bro.
So
Yes.
excellence doesn't have to be LED walls
Yes.
and
Come
No.
all this
on,
stuff.
bro.
Excellence is like, bro, make sure there's some toilet paper in the bathroom.
Yes,
Like,
dude. Make sure the trash is taken out.
make sure
Oh,
the
like,
trash is taken out. Make sure somebody knows how to lock up.
That's it. Dude,
Actually prep for your message before you get up there and just say some crazy stuff. Like,
yeah,
just
something that I'm so passionate about is simplify until you're excellent. Like,
correct.
when,
And
because
yeah,
that's excellent. Like
yes.
that should be like that should
well,
be a literal definition of
yeah, well, there were
how to
just
be
so
excellent in the
many
church.
things that I think everyone can find that are little improvements that will make significant impact. And that's the things that I was trying to get at. And everybody has those things in their
Yeah.
ministry right now. Little things that are going to make significant impact. And I think if you can just give young adults something that they can take pride in, you will blow the lid off of growth. Because for a long time we had given
So
them
good.
something that they were kind of ashamed of,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
or
Yeah.
they were it was inconsistent, so they didn't know what they were going to get. Some nights it was going to be good, some nights it was going to be pretty rough, and that's not something you want to invite your friends to, where you're just
Nope.
rolling the dice.
Yeah.
So we gave them one thing, a once a month service that was really good,
Yeah.
and we put everything we had towards it. People are like, well, when are you going to start doing groups? I was like, we're not. When are you going to start doing trips? We're not. When are you start doing camp? When are you start doing that? I was like, we're not. We're
We're
not doing
not.
any of it. We're putting everything we have into this one
Correct.
thing, and
Correct.
it's gonna be great.
That's it.
It's gonna be great. The best music they've ever seen, the best teaching they've ever
Yeah.
seen, the best hospitality they've ever seen. And then and very quickly, people went, oh,
Yeah.
oh shoot,
Correct.
these people actually
Correct.
care
Yeah.
about me. These people
Yeah.
actually matter to me. These people actually thought about me before I
Yeah.
came in.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
actually want to solve problems in my life.
Yep.
Well, and like the craziest thing you just said is everything they're asking, your church is already offering. So it's like we're not doing trips. The church does trips. We're not doing groups. The
Right.
church does groups. If you are that passionate about being in a young adult group, why don't you go sign up and be a leader and offer one through our groups link in our groups app? Do you know what I mean? We're going to do this service really well. And what's funny is like I hear you guys saying these two simple things: create a place where people want to be at, and they want to be around the people that are there. Mind blown, right? Okay. Second thing is you should treat the room like it should be full. I just think that people get this like weird thought process with excellence, thinking that like it's only mega churches that are excellent. That's not true. They just have done what Nate said. They've done what Jordan said. Just do the simple things over and over and over. The reason Kobe was so much better is because he just practiced more than everybody else. Just practice transitions. Just get on your worship team if they're not up to the culture that you're setting. Do you know what I mean? Spend more time on your message. Actually vet the people that are leading your groups if the numbers are falling. Smell the room, dude. Like literally smell the room. Does it smell like there would be 200 people in here? Does the lobby look like people would hang out here? It's like this is not this. I say this, but it's like it's just not. It's not hard to say. It is low key hard to do if you are not wired to do that. So if you're not wired to do that, find the most type A person. Like it's just so funny. Like people that have small, and I'm just like speaking, so you guys tell me if I'm wrong. People who can lead smaller ministries, they still choose restaurants to go to because those restaurants decide to be excellent, but yet they don't carry the desire to create a ministry space that is excellent. I do not understand that. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it's easy to say, it's harder to do. If you don't feel the desire
Mm.
to do it, do you know what I mean? Necessarily figure that out. Pray before the Lord. Do you know what I mean? Dear
Yeah.
God. But also find the most type A person in your ministry and tell them this is what you want to create, and you'll find yourself becoming more passionate about it because you set somebody, you know, in an ownership position to create this space that you want. And I'm just going to ask this one question because we got to go here in a minute. But so many people ask this question. They ask this question in every space. This is not just like a young adult specific problem. And I don't know if it's as much of a problem as we say it is. Do you know what I mean? But the questions around discipleship. How do I disciple my young adults better? Are people discipling their young adults really well? The definition of discipleship just changes based on what clip goes viral on Instagram about discipleship. Do you know what I mean? Like, can we talk through how you guys would define how you're discipling young adults to maybe just release some pressure off some people that are actually discipling? They just have this, you know, definition that doesn't actually need to be there. Or, you know what I mean? How are you guys, you know, pulling culture up to where it needs to be to make sure that young adults are being discipled in y'all's ministry?
Understand that your job is not your young adult spiritual growth. Your job is to resource them for their own spiritual growth.
So good.
I think many times you carry the weight of like, I have to disciple them, I have to disciple them, I have to disciple them. It's like, no, you have to give them opportunities to be discipled. And
Oh my God.
so
Gold.
what we
Gold.
Yeah.
do is we create lots of opportunities for them to get in and become discipled. So we do have small groups and we have lifestyle groups, which are like your run groups and your pickleball groups and allowing them to be in community. We have discipleship groups that we partner with the overall church as a whole. We have college campus groups for our college students to be able to get connected on side their college campuses. But also, we also understand that they don't have to just be discipled by young adult ministry. Like they don't have to be just discipled by me. Like I have pastors on our staff who run a young adult ministry, or not young adult ministry, young adult small group, sometimes Sunday morning before even church service. And for me, it's like, great, absolutely. Like let's,
Awesome. Yeah.
they're a part of the church, not just part of our young adult ministry. And so if they can find discipleship in other avenues outside of our young adult ministry that's connected with our church, then praise God. But my job is to at least give them opportunities so that they are available to them so that they can find discipleship for themselves.
Good. Friend, that's a bar.
Hmm. This is gonna, I don't know, this is kind of a half-baked thought, but we'll just let it fly, see where it goes. Um, in some of my experience, again, kind of coming back to like your classic, maybe stereotypical, kind of like jaded dude that wants to lead the young adult ministry because he's frustrated with something at his church right now.
Mhm.
I think that he always says something like, "Yeah, we need to be about discipleship. We just not disciple it." You know, it's like he's always the discipleship guy. It's like always the same dude who is
Yes,
just
yes,
like,
yes.
"Yeah, I'm frustrated, and this got to be better, and we got to go deeper, and we got to," and it's like it's not that anything that that character that I'm playing right is saying that's actually wrong. It's just that I think sometimes we say stuff and we don't even know what we're talking about. We just like say things and we don't really know what we mean. We're just
Mhm.
frustrated and we just think that whatever that is bad. And then I'm just going to do the opposite of that and that's going to be good. And yeah, revolting against megachurch to do
Yep.
basement worship with 10 people isn't discipleship.
Stop.
It,
Thank
it,
you. Thank you.
it's,
Thank you. What a
it's just
bar. What a
not.
bar.
Um, my second point being right now, our ministry is in an interesting spot because we are primarily hosting an evangelistic gathering.
Mhm.
And our purpose for this night is for young adults to find community and to explore faith. And that's what it is. So if anyone
Mhm.
ever comes up to me and says, I just don't really feel like I am being discipled at this night, I'm like,
You're not.
cool.
Yeah, yeah.
There's
Yeah,
freedom
yeah,
in
Good,
that, bro.
yeah,
good,
yeah.
good,
I'm
man.
like, great.
Yeah.
Tonight was actually about you making a
It
friend.
was a win.
Yeah.
You don't have any friends. And tonight was actually an opportunity. There was 800 young adults around you, and you didn't even introduce yourself
You
to
didn't
one
find one
person.
friend.
So I think again, people kind of have this idea or expectation when they come into spaces, and this is in church world as well, that it exists for everyone, everywhere, at any point in their spiritual growth journey and at any stage of life, all at one time, and that's just impossible. So again, we clearly define what the thing is for and what it's not for, so that when someone comes up and says, "Hey, I'm just looking to be, discipled," we can point them to other areas at our church where we already have great things in store. And then that person can either choose to opt in or opt out. And that again is the beauty of young adult ministry is
That's
I don't
great.
have to take full responsibility. I can put
Oh,
some things
so
in front
good,
of you.
guys.
And then it's on you to pick it and figure it out. Normally, a lot of times people actually don't want to be discipled.
They don't. They don't. They don't. They
They
don't.
think
But they're
they
really
do.
frustrated at the church and they want to go to a 10 people
They
basement worship
They
session and
hate
sure.
listen.
accountability, then call it
They
Oh,
think
church
they
boy.
do.
hurt.
I'm like, I
Church
just
They
really want to
hurt.
be in a
do.
group. I'm like, you didn't come to the last three.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's
so
like,
I'm all
okay.
in on I'm all in on discipleship, but I'm not all in on creating all these extra things in your young adult ministry just because there's people that are complaining or looking for super niche specific things when we already have a really good
Mhm.
thing that our
Mhm.
church uses. And that's a really key integration strategy because we can't do the same thing that we do in youth ministry, which is just remove everyone right from Sunday.
Yeah.
It's like you got to get integrated into intergenerational community. Our night is the night at YA where you can hang out with people who are just like you. But Sunday service and our church is intergenerational. And you need to get discipled in that type of environment. So we even have mentorship programs that people can get attached to. We have great things, We don't
Yeah.
need to reinvent the wheel.
And okay, so I this is the line that I'm taking away from this, and this is what I hope young adult pastors and people that are joining this that need hope and encouragement, right? The takeaway is get clarity on what your young adult ministry's purpose inside your church is going to be, and then promote where your
Yeah.
church is already crushing what people are asking. Can your young adult
Yes.
ministry do outside of that? Oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. I love you so much. I
Yes.
wish I could come to Tampa. I wish I could come to Cincinnati. I cannot wait to continue this conversation on the
Love you
next episode
guys.
with you guys.
Love you
Love y'all.
guys. See you
Love
next
you.
time.
Peace.